So this is section 5.4, solving for exponential equations, type 2. So let's go back and kind of review again type 1. So type 1 was a to the u equals a to the v, then u equals v. But for type 2, we're going to use the same format as type 1, but it's going to be a little bit different. So it's going to be a to the u equals b to the v, which then a log base a to the u equals log base b to the v. Or like in your book, states log base a to the m equals log base a to the n, so m equals n. But I'm just showing you the exponential and how it translates into that form, because we have exponential functions here, or exponential equations. So let's do an example from your textbook. It's a good way to start. So let's try this example. And I think there was example 2 from your textbook. 5x minus 1 minus 2x equals 0. Well, how they did this was they moved over the 2 to the x to turn it positive. Now we're ready to solve. So one of the first things you always do with these problems is to bring down the exponent. And that's this guy here and this guy here. So you bring down the exponent in front of the value. But before I do that, before I bring it in front, I want to put the logarithm in. So put the logarithm, then we'll move it down. So now we can move down our exponents. But the first thing is always to move that exponent in front once the log has been put there. The log or the ln, you can use either one. So then what do I do next? Well, the next thing to do is always to distribute. If you have parentheses here, you want to distribute the log into the parentheses. So log times x, so it'd be x log of 5 and minus 1 log of 5. Or you don't have to put the 1 there if you don't want to. Now the next thing we have to do, well, we have to combine like terms. Since I have x here and I have x here, I want to move one to one side and then move this guy to another side because it doesn't have any x in it. So I'm going to choose to move this guy over here, and I choose to move this guy over here. So we get x log of 5. And since it was positive on the right-hand side, it's become negative. X log of 2 equals... And then the other one was negative, so it's going to become positive on the other side. So the next thing I have to do is, I have an x in both of these, right? Well, how do I get the x out of the way? Because I want to isolate it. So how do I do that? Well, one of the things we can do is called factor the x. So we put parentheses, and the x is going to want to go outside of this parentheses. So x log of 5 minus log 2 gives me 1 log of 5. Now we can isolate the x. So how you do that is you divide this whole thing here to isolate the x out. So once you do that on this side, you do the same thing on the other side. So that means my answer is this. I'm just going to make it without the 1 because the 1 isn't necessary here. But I was just showing you where I took that from. So this is our answer. And then what you could do is in your calculator, you could enter this fraction in, and you would find your answer evaluated in decimal form. You could also use ln, so instead of all the logs here, this could be ln, as I said before. Now I want you to do an example similar to this one. It's more closer to your classwork, and I want to see if you can evaluate it on your own. And then we'll come back and do it together. So go ahead and pause the video here, and then we will do it together. Okay, so welcome back. So this is a solution to number 2. So what do we always do? I'm just going to write it down here again. So remember, the first thing we always do is we bring down our exponent. So on the right, I don't have any exponents. Only on the left I do. So this guy's going to want to go down. And I put the log in front of both of these and move my exponent. Then what was the next step? We want to distribute. So x log of 3. And I'm not going to put the 1 this time. We have a plus, so it'll be plus log of 3 and log of 20. Okay, so we only have one x, so I want to move this guy to the other side to get the x by itself. And since it was positive on the left-hand side, it needs to be negative on the other side. So now what do I do? Well, we don't have to factor out the x because we don't have 2 x's. So all we have to do is now just divide log of 3 out. So that goes away. But then if you notice on the right hand side, we have the same values twice, right? So this would be our answer. But you could simplify it even more and do a little bit further in this, but I'm not going to show that. It's not necessary. They're going to want this form is correct. Okay, so let's do the example from the classwork. So this shouldn't be unfamiliar. So again, what we do is we bring down the exponent into the front, put logs in front. So x plus 2, x log of 5, plus 2 log of 5, log of 13. We isolate the x. And then what we can do is we can divide the log out. Or it can be written as this. Since they have the same logs. Just a -2. But if you write it like this is okay. It's the same thing. Okay, so let's do one that has 2 exponents. So we'll do the example from your textbook, and then we'll do one more that is not in your textbook. So for So we put the log in front. We move our exponents in front. Next. Then we distribute. So this should be the first step that you should get. Okay. And then I want to get all my x's together. So here I'm just going to choose to move my x over here. And I'm going to choose to move this guy over here. So we get 2 log of 4 plus log of 7. Since it was negative over here. And then 2 log 7 minus x log of 4. So now we have all our x's on the same side. So what did we do last time? Well, if you have x's there, we want to put parentheses, and we want to move that x outside to factor it. So we factor out the x. So now I'm going to rewrite the left-hand side. Everything that was there before stays except for the x. Now we divide it. So now our x is 2 log of 4 plus log of 7 over 2 log of 7 minus log of 4. Now, if they were asked us to evaluate, you would put this in your calculator. So 2 log of 4 plus log of 7 divided by 2 log of 7 minus log of 4. Let's see what that gives me. I'm getting 1.8832. I'll just say 5 sig figs here. So this is our evaluated. So this is evaluate. And this is the form. Okay, so let's do one more. So try this one on your own, and then we'll come back and go through it together. So try this one. Okay, welcome back. So this is the second problem, so I'm just gonna show how to do it. I'm not gonna talk through it, just watch. It's gonna be the same as the last one. So again, let me talk through this. So I put the log, I brought down the exponent. So here, then I distributed. Then I moved like terms together here. Then I factored out my x. Then I divided to isolate x. And then I got my solution, and then I evaluated. So this is 5.4, solving for exponential equations type 2.